Okay, so a while ago, Vlad Porchenko did a phenomenal job with a DSL for JavaFX. It doesn't get more clojure than that, pure data. Beautiful work. JavaFX will allow you to write in a idiomatic way application and structure it the way you used to from the React-based libraries on the web. So it's a functional approach with diffing of a scene graph and updating components only when you need. It's elegant, very, very nice. And you should check it out if you're going to build something substantial in JavaFX. Now, the fact that there is a good solution for structuring a desktop application in Clojure with JavaFX doesn't mean that it's all roses. The types of problems can be related to two things, right? One is the building of the application when it's done, because remember, with the desktop application you need to build executables, native executables. And to do that, you need to have some kind of a build pipeline. Now, the second thing I will address later on is the REPL workflow. How do you use this goodness of updating your desktop application while you're writing it? So you want to be developing in a very Lispy way, where you update your game, your web application, your desktop application in an instant way. This kind of goodness. This is why we love Clojure, right? So build and REPL, two things I want to address. So you want to start the template with Meyvn-t. This is how you specify templates. You can just type Meyvn-t and get a list of all available templates in Meyvn. We want the JavaFX template. Once it's downloaded, before even opening any file, you can already run the application with Meyvn JavaFX :run, because that's a remember, Meyvn is a wrapper for Meyvn, so you get to use all the good stuff from Meyvn, Mavn. So there is a JavaFX plugin which allows you to run the JavaFX application, and that's what we've done here. And then you can also package the application. In Meyvn, you just type Meyvn package, so you can do that in Meyvn as well. And you can run the jar, the Uber jar. It's a full Uber jar. It's a fat jar. There are all kinds of small details when you're building a fat jar with JavaFX. You need to know that if you extend the application class, it can't be the main class. But now we have a fat jar that runs your application, and that's the first step into building your application, but we want native executables. So how do we do that? And that's where it gets interesting, because Vlad showed a really nice way to build executable with Github Actions. And the nice thing about Github Actions is that you can just push your source code and start a build process, the build pipeline. Actually, you can use any kind of trigger to start your build process. So in Github Actions, you have to provision the runner, the computer that is going to run your build. And you know, it's like a typical CI/CD pipeline. You have to tell what needs to be installed on the machine. And you have to tell, okay, install Java, install Clojure, run my program. Now, this is where it gets interesting, and that's one of the reasons I'm doing this video, is to show with Meyvn you don't need to install Clojure on a CI/CD pipeline. You just don't need to do that. You don't need the Clojure build tools neither. And that is very useful for teams or for companies where you have CI/CD pipelines that you don't control. You can push code, but if you start saying, hey, you need to install Lightning and you install boot, the DevOps team don't have time for that. and you're stranded. So because it's a Maven wrapper, you can tell it to produce a POM file, which then can be run with Maven, the Java Maven build tool. And that's what we're doing here. So we generate a POM, which is a perfectly valid POM for Maven, and Clojure will be compiled with the Maven Clojure plugin, and the FATJAR will be packaged with the Shade plugin from Maven, the ecosystem, which is the very mainstream plugin used for creating FAT jars. And that is so liberating. You just push it and the build starts on GitHub. It starts 3 runners on a Mac computer, a Windows computer, and a Linux computer. So if you want a native executable, you need to build the Java application on the target, on the native target. You can't cross-compile. You don't need to install anything but Java on the CI/CD pipeline. And that's very cool. It can be liberating to have a way to be able to build Clojure programs without the toolchain, relying instead on Java and Maven, which is, if you think about it, this is one of the selling points of Clojure, that it's hosted on the Java virtual machine, and therefore can tap into this rich ecosystem. Well, it's exactly the same here. Why stop at JVM? It really pays off to also tap into Maven. This is a good example of it. Okay, so the next thing is at the REPL, what you do, how can you enjoy this goodness? What is there to note? Well, first of all, that you stay in the user namespace. It has 3 top-level definitions. Initialize, which is used for initializing the JavaFX runtime. And this is the alternative way of starting JavaFX if you're not going to extend the application class. JavaFX application class. So that's what you have to do in the REPL, and the user namespace does that for you. So the user namespace also has the display function. The display will return a stage, and you have to save a handle on that because redraw takes a stage argument and then a root argument. So you use display the first time to bring up the first screen, and then you do your work in the scene graph. This is what you give as argument into a redraw along with the stage, and then it can redraw your application. Okay, so you can download Maven at maven.org, maven.org. I'm not advocating that the community adopts this tool. I'm just trying to make it attractive to people who can see value in it. So if you are one of those people, get in contact. You can contact me via the website or on Twitter or on YouTube, or you will find my email. It's not difficult. And you can contact me via GitHub. Maybe it is the year of the desktop applications.